Okay, so we will try to discuss the case study of Meetaverse, the company that I'm managing now. I will also show you our system, and I will also try to discuss with you our challenges. Probably you will have good ideas for us. So let's start. So usually I like to regard startups as some kind of a telenovela. Always it's a story that someone loved something and then he was betrayed and then he loved another one and then they discovered that the long lost daughter was disappeared. So yes, this is basically startups. So in our case, the origin story of our startup, it's also actually started as a division of another company. There was a company, All Seated, that Forbes said that they invented the metaverse and they raised a lot of money. Why? And the basic business was designing of events. Let's say you want to do a bar mitzvah. You come to this company and they show you the space and you can choose which kind of table, chair, or whatever you want in the arena, in the event. But then came the COVID. And then all of the companies came to them and said, hey, you have already 3D models of our events and you're working with us as an event organizers, so let's do a virtual events. And this is when the company boomed and Forbes said that invented the metaverse before Mark Zuckerberg, and they raised $20 million without any challenge and life was very good, but then the COVID ended. So it was clear to them that they cannot continue doing the same and decided to spin out the company. Why they spin out the company? Because they have 15 paying customers. That means when they made the change, when they announced the split and the change, they started negotiating with potentials. And within a few months, they gathered 15 paying customers. So when I arrived, they came to me and said, hey, we have 15 paying customers. Some of them are Fortune 500, like Siemens and Citizen Bank and Ferrero, and we have dozens of customers in pipeline, but we don't really understand why they're customers of us. And it's really a strange approach to someone, especially when you're interviewing to be a CEO. And they say, like, it doesn't make any sense. So I asked them, okay, what is your positioning? So they say we are an enterprise metaverse. And what is our USP? You don't need to install anything, you don't need a VR, and we use video streaming instead of avatars. So I had a small search, the way that I analyze such things. I checked how many people are interested in enterprise metaverse. How many people search about it in a year? 20 searches a year, more or less. Now, until now, by the way, everyone that searches for Metaverse Enterprise, I take him. I have an 80% conversion on it. That means if someone searches for it, probably will be a client. But I spend $35 a month. That's it. So what did I do? I've done actually what Jonathan said. Rang the customers and ask them, well, why do you like us? Naturally, in a more intelligent way. And I noticed, okay, just I will say something about very important, because just as Jonathan said, product is nice, but marketing is the king. That means if you have a mediocre product, but good marketing, you will be a success. If you have the greatest product ever alive, but mediocre marketing, nothing will happen. And I can tell you, after 2 startups and 2 big communication companies in Israel, this is the story. Just marketing. Good ideas, you get 100 in a dime. Good marketing ideas, actually not for Jonathan, I'm interviewing the best marketers in the country for over a month and we're still in a problem, but we have a solution. Okay, so another way for me to analyze the potential success of a company is, okay, let's try to see the bits and bytes of the marketing. So they had the PPC marketing, what Jonathan liked to call brute force, for all the right reason. They spent about $7,500 a month, and they had about one customer per 2 months. That means that the customer acquisition cost was about $12,000 and the profit $20,000, which is good, but not much. That means one customer per 2 months, when you spend so much money, it's a problem. Then the idea of ABM, I don't know if you discussed here, ABM is like the buzzword now, which is basically cold calls, a sophisticated name for cold calls. And cold calls, what is nice is apparently it doesn't cost you any money. It's for free, right? You don't have advertising budget, but you have personnel. So it actually was $16,000. They got over 100 leads per month, which is very nice, but one customer in a year. Total failure. The first thing I've done was firing all of the ABM people. 5 people were cut out of the company. And this is something I didn't notice at the beginning. They had 6 customers and almost the best customers from business development. But I didn't took it into my consideration. This is a hint, a spoiler to the future. So, as I said, they don't have enough leads. They have a very long sales cycle of over half a year. And also the minimum requirement of the customers were very high because you're working your enterprise solution. You need to be totally safe, totally solid. And actually, I can tell from 20 years of experience, going to enterprise customers when you start probably will kill your company. It's like eating a fish which is too big. It's a total mistake. So I said, okay, I started interviewing the customers. 15 customers, I can interview them quite easily. I noticed that the 2 biggest ones are doing training. And I even understood that it's not just training, it's training, and now they call it also learning and development, and they're calling also organizational development. So, okay, nice. Also, 5 of my medium customers are the same kind. So the majority of customers and also the highest yielding customers are training and learning and development. So I said, okay, I found the use case. Use case is HR division that do training. And then I started to interview them and ask them, why do you like us so much? So they told me something very interesting. They told me that their biggest problem is people leaving the company very fast. That means they invest a lot of time in recruiting, in training, and all of the things. And then 3 months after the onboarding, the employee leaves. It's a huge problem for them. But they found out that if, while doing the onboarding, the employee will speak with other employees, the chance that he will leave is very low. And it makes sense. If you have a friend in your working place, you will not leave it. So they said, in your system, people speak a lot. So we hit the benchmark. We have a lot of communication. We are doing a good job. Great. And then I use this. 12 billion working days are lost every year due to employees burnout and turnover, costing $1 trillion annually. We have a solution. The solution, let's have connection between people. And when I look at the marketing, so suddenly the customer acquisition cost dropped to $2,500, third of the previous one. Our average revenue per customer is more or less the same. The pace, although we cut the budget to third, doubled. And the sale process is 2 months. It's very reasonable. We are currently speaking on a year because the company exists only for 1 year, so it's hard for me to do anything else. But what is the problem? Still, we are not in 10 searches, we are in 100 searches. Again, we cannot build a deal on it, and also the conversion is more reasonable, which is 10%. That means I will get 10 leads per month. I can grow to 2 customers a month, 3 customers a month. It's not a real business. At the same time, I still have to do lots of tests with cyber. I still need to have a customer success that will manage them. And usually they want an event and not an ongoing activity. And the thing that was most troubling for me, and I think that Jonathan didn't mention it, investors weren't interested. And we need to always remember, we're not only marketing to the market, we are marketing also to investors. And as a founder, maybe Jonathan, you will not like it, the majority of your work is marketing to investors. If you are lucky, the investor is professional and intelligent, and your marketing to the investor will be relevant also for the market. But it's not always like this. So, I come here and say, HR division don't have money. Okay, I can show you that they have budget. No, believe us, we invested. They don't. And that's it. You can't do anything from that point on. I cannot show them that actually HR division health project because we know they don't have. And if and the favorite thing, we invested 5 years ago in a company that was for HR, we lost a lot of money, so we're not going there. And also, I can give you an example, and good companies, by the way. This was the answer I got from Pitango, Upwest, like reasonable startups.
So, can I ask a question? It seems like your ICP was actually defined by the customers themselves.
It's a little bit, again, I would say there is no standard way of building a startup, okay? And in my case, I got a startup which was almost 1 year old, and they asked me to move it forward. Now, the majority of projects that I'm doing are like this. When I said that I founded X, in many cases, they asked me to come and join in the founder level to do a pivot to the company. Like my biggest success was a Hero, a video advertising company that lasted for 15 years. When I came to the company, it was a DRM company. Not connected at all but when I understood who is interested, where will it go, and took me to that direction. So now we will do a short pause, because now I explained to you the problem. I want to show you the system, and then maybe we'll discuss a little bit and I'll give you an example to which direction I want to take the company now. So this is our environment that I built it actually for this demo. Just a moment. Yeah, I'm looking for a place that you'll have a nice view of the environment. So basically, what you can see here is that we have a 3D environment that give a realistic feeling. We have people walking around, and when I'm clicking on someone, then it opens a video stream so I can communicate it. So it's not like a Zoom that you're forced to be in a room with the people, but you can choose with whom you want to speak, where you want to speak, why you want to speak.
How much does it cost to build such an environment in terms of expenses?
The real cost?
Yes, expenses to the company.
I'm not saying how much I charge them, but how much it costs for me?
Yes.
Like $1 per user.
Oh, you have to build this environment.
Yes.
Yeah, but building the environment, this is what the nice trick here, let's call it like this. It's that most of the environment are pre-built, are template built, and then I'm just doing small alterations of it. So the cost of building an environment is almost trivial. I charge for this, yes, but it actually almost no cost for me.
No, I mean the environment. It's a real space.
It's a 3D space, yeah.
How many hours you spend in building a whole new environment? That's what you have.
Like this specific environment, 2 hours.
So if I'll go to you, for example, I have a villa in Savio. Okay, I'd like to sell. Okay, and I'll ask you to build my villa in this environment.
So if it is something very specific, again, our main business, although I have one customer who is a real estate.
For example.
Yeah. Now, most of our customers use it for, as I mentioned, for training, conferences, and things like this. And most of the spaces are more or less the same. If you want me to build you a specific house, it might take me a day. Because it depends how accurate you want it to be. Because if you want it to be really accurate, I need to bring a team and to do like 3D measurement and lasers and so on. I don't think it ever happened to us, yeah? I even built once that I was ordered to build the temple. The temple of Herod's temple. So again, it took us couple of hours. Why? Because you have so many models of Herod's temple that you don't need to invest much.
Nobody really knows how to.
Yeah.
But if somebody really wants to sell his property,
Yeah, we have one.
and this property costs, for example, $10 million.
Even if it costs a lot of money, it will be hundreds of dollars. I have one customer, a big real estate company from Switzerland, and they pay us like $1,000 a month, and they get quite a lot. So it costs much less than it is perceived to be cost. The problem is that the biggest cost for us is training the people to operate the system, and this is a big problem. Yeah.
So if I go near one of the person in this metaverse, I hear the conversation. I just go next to them, like in the real life?
Yeah, it's proximity based. Also, by the way, if I will go to, I will show you a video of one of our events. Further to what? So it starts working as I get closer to it. And this is how an actual event looks like. So you see a lot of people. You have the main stage. When you enter the main stage, the CEO is speaking, so you cannot, it changes to something a little bit like Zoom, so you'll not bother him. Okay. Nutella is one of our biggest customers. They just now renewed again the license. Okay.
Do you have customers that use it as a virtual office for events? Or day-to-day kind of remote?
So, I think I will not show you much more than this. I think we have use cases here and so on. If you want, I can show you, by the way, an actual space of an actual customer, how it looks like. This is a real customer, but you will not see now people because the event is closed. It's a big bank from Canada, and their idea was that every salesperson is a rock star, so they wanted to build it as a rock arena. And then they have a merchandising shop, and they have a bounty hound that you can play, and you have the main event, Nice and interesting. But now, after you've seen it, we try taking Jonathan's approach to how to build startups. That again, I strongly agree. We try to think what will be our beachhead. What is the one solution that we can say that will make everybody interested in the company? So when I'm thinking about training, HR departments, so I can do maybe a webinar about HR. I have a very known HR, several known HR people that I thought of maybe taking, but it didn't feel enough. And again, we don't think that it's big enough market. So I try to think, let's try to think what is the general case that the training is its specific case? Do you follow the logic here? So let's think that training is an example of a much bigger use case. Well, in the beginning, the company thought it is enterprise metaverse, but we understood that there is no market. And also going to one of the questions here, in enterprise metaverse, you will have also office spaces and conferences, and they simply don't work. So what is this case? So what I done this time, I went to industry experts, not to customers, because the imagination abilities of customers are limited. They know what they tried. They don't know what they'd never tried. So if I want something visionary, I need to go to a different angle. And then I went to industry experts, people that were seniors in Zoom, in Teams, in On24, and so on. And they told me, well, the general space is a long session with high engagement. Why? Because Zoom, Teams, and all of the other platform, they lose engagement after 40 minutes. All of them will tell you you cannot have a session longer than 40 minutes. But there are many cases in which you need session which will be longer than 40 minutes. Training is one of them, onboarding is one of them, but you have also e-learning, you have also medical, you have many use cases. There is actually a very big need in the longer sessions. And there is a big market for this. And then we try to think, what is the product USPs in this section? So this is our brochures, and you can say it's a 75 of video conference users lose engagement after 60 minutes. Meetaverse keep them engaged for over 3 hours. Very simple message, resonate with everybody because everybody trying to do a long session. Everybody knows it's relatively hard. And I try to understand why our engagement is higher, and I'm also doing a PhD in philosophy. So somehow it connected to my PhD is in philosophy of knowledge. Engagement is part of knowledge. So I knew that if I enable people to decide what they want to do, they will have higher engagement. I knew that if I enable interactions, people will have higher engagement. Education is a social activity. If I will let people discuss with each other, they will have other engagement. And there is also a much longer list of reasons. So when I mentioned who needs a longer session, webinars, virtual events, sales events, job interviews, onboarding. And then we needed to think who will be our potential customer. And then we had here also a nice insight, because what we learned that in big companies, which was our original customers, it is the event division. But when you are going to smaller companies, then you discover that they use content marketing agencies. And it's a big segment. In the US, there are over 20,000 content marketing agencies. So now, I think I know what is my market, and I know what is the problem of the market. The market is content marketing agencies. The problem is that when they are trying to do longer events, the engagement is falling. And when I started calling content marketing agencies, tell me, what a coincidence. Last week we had a customer that just wanted this kind of a product, and we told him that there isn't such a product. We told him that there isn't such a thing as a webinar of over an hour. It's like a unicorn. So at this point, I want to stop for a moment. Before I will tell you what is the direction that we are heading in trying to find the beachhead and the marketing engine. It will be after you following all of the lectures that you listen from Jonathan, it will be interesting for me to hear what are your thoughts. What would you do in order to create a beachhead, in order to infiltrate the market? And in the section of long session, high engagement with content marketing agencies.
Why not telemedicine in the healthcare?
First, there is no real reason, I must say. Second, sorry. Yeah, I know. Telemedicine. I want to reduce the amount of approvals that I need to get for each one of my systems. My intuition tells me that medical care will require for me quite a lot of preparation, cyber, and so on. Yeah, and what I tell you, but there is another section of medical that we are working on. What?
They pay higher. You can charge not $2,000, you can charge $20,000.
No, but again, when you're speaking about medical devices, so it will be probably conference, webinar, training.
No, I'm thinking about that you're doing, for example, you want to consult an expert that's from the US, for example.
I think it's much more logical to meet him like in this sort of platform instead of just like Zoom or something like that. Again, you probably need to adjust it a bit with, for example, you're going to like show some, I don't know,
But,
cities and so on.
but you're now speaking about the target audience. I'm speaking about the marketing engine. That means what manipulation, it's okay to call it manipulation? What manipulation strategy should I do so he will be interested in me? Because as Jonathan said, yes, we can do PPC. I will show you in a moment the PPC results. They are good. We can do PPC, we can do LinkedIn, we can do webinars, we can do content marketing. We're doing all of it, it's okay. But this is brute force. We need to find the elegant solution. So this is what I'm trying. It's a very creative challenge.
What about schools and universities?
Again, it's target audience, it's not marketing engine. I say, like, all the target audiences that you mentioned are very good, and you know, the fact that I think now we should go to content marketing agencies and not to psychological sessions, I can explain why. Basically,
Let me just explain what Oded is asking. Okay, when we build Zoom Info, that's okay.
this is what you wanted me to add. Yeah.
When we build Zoom Info, we build a directory of all the people that were in our database. So if anybody went on the web, didn't know anything about us, and typed in Jonathan Stern, the Zoom Info page would jump on top of the list. So they clicked on it and said, what is Zoom Info? So that's how we reach millions of people. That's essentially the question we are asking in here, which is there any magic like that that will make people encounter Meetaverse and say, oh, wow, this is really cool, I can use it? That's the question.
And I will give another example that I like. Sorry, I would just say DocuSign had a very nice engine that I liked. Every time that you use DocuSign, it shows you in a calculator how many trees you saved, and they sent both sides how many trees were saved. So, you know, you want to save trees. So it was very nice. And there are many companies, I also like what Daniel is doing, you know, as a promotion. If you discussed it already. Who said entertainment? Yeah.
What about entertainment? People spend tons of time in front of screens, all kind of screens, to watch Aach HaGadol, the Big Brother, or whatever. If you can create a metaverse that will provide entertainment, not only to the crowd.
But the question,
Porn is one of them.
I will give you an example of an idea that is based, I will give you an idea that is based on one of your insights, because remember, the objective of this game, let's call it like this, is bring us more customers, yes? More customers from the segments that we devise. So going on your rationality,
Make it a gaming
Yeah.
application, virtual casino or whatever.
but they are
People
virtual.
can play with each other. And
But then you said, so the that means that my target, the use case of the system is gambling. Yeah, but what I thought it is a little bit like what you said is that I thought, who are the people in the content marketing agencies? At the end of the day, we're working with people. You can say in very general terms that they will be in ages 25 to 35 with the college education. These are more or less the people works. So I said, and probably from big cities. Now, I said, okay, so I said, I thought, what is the media that they are using? So the most popular medium today for this age group is computer games. So I looked which computer games are the most successful for this segment. I found 10. So I went to Reddit and looked for the community. And I found that each one of these games have more than 100,000 people in the Reddit community. So maybe I can do an event to the community of the game in our metaverse, and then we'll get a nice portion of potential customers visiting my environment, not expecting that I'm doing a sale on them. Because one of the biggest problems with this audience is that they are very sales reluctant. They can feel that you're going to sell to them something. I will jump a little bit and tell you what is our idea, and I will love your thoughts about it. So what I said is that I checked it about the brute force, engagement. It's popular term, engagement IDs, how to increase engagement in Zoom. Nice bunch of terms. Over 600 in a month, which means I'm starting to get into normal numbers. I don't have yet what is my customer acquisition cost or even what is my cost for lead, because we started it just 2 weeks ago and we're still paying. But it shows potential, but it's a brute force. We are not here for this. So what we said is, let's take ownership on the term engagement. Let's try to position ourselves as the engagement company. Why? Remember, we want to sell long session with high engagement. So if I take ownership on the term engagement, it helps. It could help. How do you take ownership? The first phase that we want to do is something that we're doing in any case, is establish ourselves as thought leaders. Publish articles, webinars, post. If any one of you will search after me, he will see that I publish posts about engagement in any platform known to the humankind, like Blue Sky, Twitter, Threads, Reddit, whatever, I'm there. But this leads us to the second level, which is interesting, I think at least. We said, let's develop a plugin for Zoom. The plugin will know to do one thing. He will show you your engagement score. Okay? I still don't know if it will be in real time or just in the end of the event, but we can show you, and we tested it, we can do it. We can analyze the participants in a Zoom event, and based on this, create an engagement score. So you get, your engagement score is 86, and you are located in the top 20% of the market. You want to know how to increase the engagement? Do you not want contact our team? Do you want us to tailor fit to you to do a bespoke event with high engagement? We are here for you. Now we are actually in discussion with Zoom to understand what can we do in order that they will promote us, or at least will not make any problem to us. Now, and by the way, we found a way, I can tell you, in advance. So what is nice here, I actually market a free software. I will not ask them even to put the credit card details, which is the most challenging part. I just want their email. Give me your email, you get this plugin. Very easy to install. Usually, customer acquisition cost of free plugins are quite low. So we actually can do it, and it's relatively simple. That means, frankly, next week I can develop it. So it's something quite simple. Now, the Holy Grail, and this is one. The Holy Grail, I didn't have time to write it, is we want to try and establish this as a metric toward advertisers also. One of the biggest challenges of virtual events is finding sponsors. Everybody wants to find a sponsor. But there is no way for an advertiser to know the quality of the event. Okay, you told me that 100 people came. First, how do I know? And B, what does it mean that they came? If I can tell them, hey, I have an engagement metrics, I have an event of 86, then suddenly the advertiser knows what to do with this. Has something on his hand. And so this is more or less the idea. So I will value your feedback on the idea because it's really fresh from the oven. We developed it during the weekend. Yeah.
This is engagement of the meeting, of the specific Zoom meeting, of each person, how that person was engaged.
Let me explain how we think it will work. Well, so you are the speaker of the engagement. Okay, so you start the Zoom, people logging to your Zoom.
Okay.
All right, so you can see everybody on the screen, remember? Because you are the one that controls it. And so we will put a plugin that will go and check each of the participants. We'll look at the camera and see, are you on camera or not on camera? Let's start with that. If you're on camera, are you looking at me or are you looking down? Or you're just walking, whatever you do, okay? So we can start doing the simpler thing, which is like a teacher. I look at you, I look at you, I look at you, I see everybody with their eyes closed, I know I'm down, right? If I see all of you looking at me, that's good. Basically the most simple thing.
But we can do also...
So we can do it every 10 minutes, okay, very easy. And we can start seeing how, we can tell you, listen, you're losing your people.
We can also analyze the amount of questions being asked, the texts that are being sent, the emoticons that are being sent, people leaving, people joining.
So you're scoring the meeting as a meeting?
Yes, the meeting, yes.
Not every person?
No, the meeting.
The meeting.
The meeting. Because this is very important also to the person that is hosting the event. He wants to know if people are concentrated or not. And if people are not concentrated, they want to know what to do in order to increase it. Now, I've done a search. There are 3,000 plugins for Zoom and more or less the same number for Teams. There are also, I found 10 plugins dealing with engagement. None of them gives an engagement score. All of them try to sell you engagement tools. So for that reason, I will not try to sell them engagement tools. I'm saying, you want advice? Call us. And probably this is something you say in one of your lectures, make your product a service.
Right.
So this is how I'm making my product a service. Now, how does, and naturally at the end we want to shove everybody to our system. And I will tell you that we found a way to implement Zoom inside our system so we are not competing with Zoom. Because the rule for Zoom, they are promoting things that are not competing with them. So we'll try this.
What happens many times is that you start building these tools, they take life of their own. What happens is you start thinking, wait, what else can I add to it? And you started saying, I can give you a tool for advertisers, right? So I can start giving you something. And tools have a tendency to develop life of their own, which is why they are so interesting. All right, we'll take a break. Thank you again, Oded. And then we'll go to the second part.